gloom thick as unspoken dread hung over Valinor. Though no sword had yet met another in open battle, the forging of alliances was well underway, by word, by vision, or by stealth. And in that silent flurry, few realized how rapidly events were careening toward a civil war of divine proportions. In the twilight realm of Lorien, where silver leaves and pastel blooms once exuded only peace, Irmo held a clandestine council. The place was shrouded in swirls of gentle mist, tinged with amethyst light, lending the grove an otherworldly cast. A small group of Maiar stood before him, each hooded, their faces cast in uneasy shadow. "Friends," Irmo began softly, "the time has come for us to reimagine Arda. You have seen the burdens we carry, endless ages of repeating fates. Must we be bound by the same old decrees forever?" His tone wove like a gentle lullaby, his syllable vibrating with unearthly charm. A Maiar with starlit eyes spoke up, voice trembling. "My lord, we have long served the Valar in harmony with Eru's design. Are we to deny this? Are we not betraying the very foundation of our existence?" "Hush!" The darkness was gradually closing. A glimmer of sunlight showed during the flight. I heard a rustle and called to Maiar, but she waved me off, refusing to hear. Irmo's gaze flicked over them, kind, yet somehow electric. Betrayal is such a harsh word. Is it betrayal to wish for freedom? To share in the shaping of destinies rather than abiding them blindly? He paused, letting the hush settle. "Tell me, do you not yearn to see your gifts flourish? To see realms of wonder that even the music did not foretell?" A few Maiar nodded, expressions brightening with longing. One stepped forward, raising a trembling hand. "I have dreamt of shaping the forests beyond the Western Sea, of guiding them to new forms." His voice shook with repressed excitement. "Lord Irma, if you grant me that power, I will follow you." Irmo's lips curved in a warm smile. "And follow me you shall. Together we will birth wonders unseen. I promise you, none who stand with me will be cast aside." His eyes glittered. "We are forging a new future, and in that future, none will be overshadowed by Eru's unyielding blueprint." Stepping from behind a slender tree trunk, a tall figure cloaked in grey made a silent appearance. Mandos. In an instant, all Maiar dropped to their knees, fear etched on their faces. "This is no idle dream," Mandos intoned, voice resonant as a far-off storm. "A new doom awaits those who remain shackled to complacency. Join us, and you will be guided to the forefront of a new era. Stand against us, and you shall face the might of powers who shape fate itself." He let the final words hang ominously in the hush. The effect was palpable. Hearts quickened, eyes darted in fear and wonder. One by one the Maiar pledged loyalty, or at least promised to keep silent until the time was ripe. And thus Irmo and Mandos gathered more to their cause. Through comforting visions and dire warnings, they turned loyal hearts to uncertain allegiances. None yet realized how deftly they were being played by two of the greatest powers in Arda. While the conspirators toiled in secrecy, not all the Valar remained idle. Ulmo, Lord of Waters, had long kept to the deeps, listening to the whispered concerns of the waves and tides. Now, sensing that Arda's fate was swerving dangerously, he emerged to counsel those who might still stand firm. On a moonlit beach upon the western edge of Aman, a band of elven mariners and wise captains of men had gathered under summons. A hush fell over them as the ocean parted slightly, revealing a path of shimmering shallows. Ulmo arose from the surf, towering yet graceful, sea foam swirling around his tall, dripping figure. "Children of Eru," he said, voice like the echo of countless waves. A heaviness creeps into these waters. The Valar themselves are divided. Even in the deep, I hear the strife in their hearts. Quote, "A young elven lord, golden hide and wearing a circlet of pearls, bowed low. My lord Ulmo, do you know who conspires against Eru? And how shall we defend ourselves if the very powers we once trusted now turn upon each other?" Ulmo's gaze, fathomless as the ocean, moved over the gathering. In truth, the betrayers hide in subtlety, but I perceive illusions swirling about Lorien, like a gathering fog. And in Mandos's halls, doom is whispered that is not Eru's design. He paused, letting the weight of revelations settle. "You must fortify your hearts. Seek the counsel of those Valar who remain steadfast. Manwë and Vada, upon Taniquetil, Aule in his forges, and Yavanna whose love for all growing things cannot be twisted. Rally to them." A mortal captain, tall and lean, voice edged with urgency, asked, "How will we know if we stand against beings of such might?" Ulmo's expression was grave yet resolute. "You cannot fight them alone, but you can resist their seductions. Guard your spirit from illusions that promise you greatness in exchange for your loyalty." He cast a glance at the horizon, where storm clouds gathered ominously. "Arm yourselves with truth, for that alone may stand against the twisting shadows." Thus did Ulmo sow seeds of vigilance among elves and men, urging them to rally under the banner of loyalty. Yet even as his words steadied their resolve, dread coiled in every heart. If those who shaped the world now warred among themselves, what hope had mere mortals? Deep within Aule's domain, the clang of hammers against anvils rang day and night. The dwarfs, stout and tireless, labored with uncharacteristic haste, forging armor that glinted like polished obsidian, axes that sparkled with runic etchings, and cunning machines of war whose nature was yet unclear. Aule himself was torn between conflicting whispers. Urmo had planted the idea of new wonders that could surpass even Eru's imagination. Mandos had hinted at the inevitability of a changed destiny. And yet, Aule's love for the Allfather still burned within him. He recalled Eru's compassion when he first created the dwarfs. Could he truly turn his back on such grace? On this day, as sparks danced around the smoky cavern, a pair of voices intruded upon his craft. He glanced up to see two Maya, one wearing a robe of midnight blue, the other clad in lighter grey. Both were known attendants in Aule's household, but the hints of agitation in their bearing spoke volumes. "My lord," began the one in midnight robes, voice trembling, "we have heard that some among the Valar may be forming new alliances. Do you stand with them? Or against them?" asked the other Maya, eyes flickering nervously over the line of newly forged warhammers. Aule set aside his hammer, the clang echoing through the cavern. "I stand with caution," he responded, voice resonant but marked by weariness. "This forging is for defense, not aggression. Let no one mistake that." The first Maiar licked his lips as though parched for answers. "If Irmo and Mandos truly aim to reform Ada, would you not welcome a new age for your dwarfs, free from old prejudices?" The second Maiar in grey added, "But if the High King Manwë commands we preserve the status quo, are we not bound by Eru's design?" Aule's eyes flashed with a mixture of grief and anger. "This forging is my duty, for I sense a time of trial is near. As for Irmo, Mandos, or even Manwë, I will say this: I am no fool. I do not lightly cast aside the bond I share with the one who gave my dwarf's life." He heaved a deep breath. "Yet, I am not blind. If the harmony of the Valar is truly broken, we must prepare for dire possibilities. He motioned toward the workshop, where dozens of dwarves hammered at red-hot steel and shaped monstrous constructs of war. Carry word to those who are loyal. Let them know Aule has not pledged himself to any rebellious cause. But neither will I be taken unawares if war descends upon us. While the Valar and their attendants moved in councils and quiet forging, the knights of Feanor already took bold steps. Their stronghold, a hidden fortress carved into a ridge of black rock, echoed with the ring of steel and the murmurs of cold determination. j.r.r. stood on a ledge overlooking a vast subterranean arena. Torches burned in the depths below, illuminating lines of elven warriors sparring with lethal precision. Maglor lingered at his side, his face a tapestry of regret and resolve. The third figure was a mortal man, rugged yet refined, wearing the emblem of a distant kingdom. "I was told you had news," said Maedhros, turning to the mortal. "Speak quickly, my time is precious." The man bowed, though not deeply. "Lord Maedhros, your sources have proven correct. I have spied upon Irmo's gatherings. He courts many Maiar with promises of new dominion. Men are also being swayed with illusions, visions of golden cities and unending prosperity under the new order. They swarm to his banner like moths to flame." Maglor's eyes narrowed. "And do you count yourself among them?" The mortal gave a grim laugh. "I serve no Valar's ambition. My loyalty is to you and your knights, for you have promised me vengeance against those who have spurned my house." Maedhros raised an eyebrow. "Indeed, and so it shall be, if you carry your tasks well. Now, did you glean whether the rebellious Valar have singled out any potential threat for removal?" The informant nodded gravely. "They are cautious, but certain mortal rulers who remain staunchly loyal to Manwë are under scrutiny. Assassinations may already be in motion." Maglor let out a tense breath. "The lines are being drawn more swiftly than we anticipated. If we do not act, we shall be left behind. Our vow is to stand at the pivot of fate, lest our enemies claim all advantage." Maedhros put a hand on his brother's shoulder. "Yet we need not rush. Let Irmo and Mandos entangle themselves in illusions and doom. Let Manwë scramble to gather loyalists. Meanwhile, we target those who might check our rise. A single knife can do more than 1,000 swords if placed rightly." With that, the knights of Feanor set in motion their plan. Under cover of night, small bands of these grim warriors fanned out, moving with lethal quiet. Their task, to intercept or assassinate key figures, be they mortal warlords or influential Maiar, who threatened the knights' ascendancy. Thus, even before the first open clash, the conflict claimed its earliest victims in hushed corridors and on deserted roads, leaving behind naught but fear and unanswered question. High atop Taniquetil, Manwë sat upon his throne in the airy council chamber. Vada stood at his right, her radiance a stark contrast to the oppressive uncertainty drifting through Valinor. Gathered were the mightiest among the faithful, Yavanna with eyes like emerald flame, Orome the huntsman in forest green garb, and Nienna weeping softly for the strife unfolding. A handful of Maiar, those loyal beyond question, stood attentive at the perimeter. Manwë cleared his throat, the sound echoing in the lofty spires. "You all sense it, a rift among us. Treachery festers, for certain powers among the Valar subvert the will of Eru. We must stand united before the darkness grows beyond our reach." Yavanna, sorrow shading her features, spoke quietly. "Irmo is dear to me, for he tends all growing things in the realm of dreams. If he is among the traitors, what hope have we? Must we truly war against our own kin?" Orome's voice rumbled low, like a beast poised to strike. If they be kin, they have forsaken that bond. I will hunt them to the ends of Arda if they threaten Iru's harmony. Nienna wiped her tears, voice tremulous yet firm. We must also remember pity. Should some among them repent, they should be given a path to return to Eru's grace. With a slow shake of his head, Manwë rose from his seat. All that is asked of us is readiness. The time to fight may yet come, but first we must gather those who remain true. Go forth. Call upon the elves who still revere the light of the trees, upon men who have not been lured by illusions, and upon Aule and his dwarfs, if they will stand with us. We must show them that all is not lost. He lifted his scepter, carved from crystal threads of starlight, and spoke with the full authority of the Elder King. Let the winds carry this summons across every vale and shore. We shall rally in Valmar within 3 turnings of the moon. By then, we shall see who stands with Eru and who stands against. His words echoed through the bright columns of Tanaquatal, and a chill seemed to ripple through the watchers. Everyone knew that once the lines were declared, there would be no easy path back to peace. As the summons spread and secret murders continued, the watchers of the realm felt the shift in the very air. Storm clouds gathered more thickly. Nights seemed darker, haunted by the hush that often precedes cataclysm. Though no clarion call of open war had rung out, the manipulations were nearly complete. Soldiers, captains, Maya, and mortal kings found themselves courted by promises of glory or threatened by warnings of doom. In a single breath, one might feel the comforting breeze that once defined Valinor, mild and golden, rippling through the calm of an eternal land. In the next, that same wind carried portents of betrayal and whispered that the greatest powers of Arda were on the brink of sundered fellowship. All eyes turned toward the horizon, waiting for the inevitable, when dreamlike illusions would shatter under the weight of swords, spells, and the unleashed might of the Valar themselves. End of poem. Thus ends Part 2, immersed in the swirling tides of manipulation. Urmo and Mandos spin their webs of subtle coercion. The Knights of Feanor sharpen their secret blades, and the loyal Valar scramble to unite those who still cling to Eru's design. Conflict has not erupted in full, yet the realm stands one heartbeat away from violence unimaginable. Signed,